Clover. Hey, what's going on, folks? My name's Gray. You're watching Consoletronix, where it is my great pleasure to bring to you my Clover Studio Retrospective, a company I had tremendous respect for during the 3 glorious but all too short years they existed. Originally set up within the corporate confines of Japanese developer Capcom in 2004, with the purpose of developing new IPs and making full use of the abundance of talent and creative energy Capcom was struggling to find use for. Allocated meager budgets but relative creative freedom, the newly formed company, headed by industry heavyweights like Shinji Mikami and Atsushi Inaba, would look to make their mark with their first release, the tokusatsu themed 2D beat 'em up, Viewtiful Joe. Originally put into development as part of the infamous Capcom 5, which was supposed to be 5 big AAA releases exclusive to the GameCube, alongside the 4th installment of the going off the rails horror franchise Resident Evil and the Suda 5-1 produced Killer 7. Viewtiful Joe stood out from the pack through its retro aesthetics and unashamed old school platform beat 'em up gameplay. Well received by critics at the time despite a mishandled PS2 release, so Capcom did what they do best and ordered a sequel to be put into development. Continuing the cel-shaded shenanigans of the first game and including a second character, the hero's kidnapped girlfriend from the first game, Sylvia, Viewtiful Joe 2 was a welcome release in 2005 as the industry's obsession with realism, Grand Theft Auto and Halo had noticeably curtailed creativity in the medium. And despite many within Clover openly scorning sequels, so much content had been cut from the first game at the behest of Capcom that many, including Devil May Cry creator and director of the original game, Hideki Kamiya, saw this as an opportunity to deliver the game he originally envisioned. But while again praised in the gaming press, Capcom were disappointed in the sales. Clover would need to deliver with their next release, and they knew it. The star-studded lineup of developers at Clover were seen as jewels in Capcom's crown, but Clover as a studio had yet to deliver anything beyond promise. Enter Okami, the first title to really make gamers sit up and take notice. Ico had a big impact on the industry a few years earlier, but poor sales made publishers nervous of anything outside the norm. Okami sought to tread the delicate balance of innovative new ideas and commercial appeal. I, like many others at the time, took little interest initially and only played it with the Wii re-release 3 or 4 years later. Okami would be considered a flawed masterpiece by most, and once again, Capcom cared more for copies sold and franchise potential than cultivating fan loyalty. We didn't know it then, but Clover and its creator-driven approach to game development were fast becoming obsolete.
Those guys are cake.
Not to mention, much sexier than you.
Well, your sexy little friends. They're coming for a dance.
They're still sexier than you are.
I may have bounced off Okami on my first exposure to it, but Clover's last hurrah, the beat-em-up God Hand, would very quickly become one of my favourite games of all time. Although you'll be unsurprised when I tell you it had disappointing sales, particularly as it was released on the PS2 a year after the PS3 hit store shelves, and had box art that hardly caught the eye. And while Viewtiful Joe and Okami had small but dedicated fan bases, God Hand, one of the best games of its generation, came and went like a horny mayfly. The industry had changed. Word of mouth counted for little in the face of hype for first-person shooters or FIFA. But for all of you looking for a rock-solid, rock'em sock'em beat-em up from a studio whose stated goal was to create games that challenged and inspired the gamer, give this classic action title a chance. And before I wrap up this video, I want to show off two of the filler episodes in the Viewtiful Joe story. The first, Red Hot Rumble, released for the GameCube and PSP. This is the PSP version, although there's little difference between the two. And we return to the bright lights and even brighter tights of the Viewtiful universe in Smash Bros. Style arena battle action, which suits the handheld with its pick up and play mayhem. Well worth a look. And lastly, we have Viewtiful Joe Double Trouble for the Nintendo DS from 2005, which follows the tried and tested formula of its console counterparts, but like everything else ported down to the DS, loses a little something in the downgrade. Fun for a bit, but recommended to fans more. So that's it. This has been my brief retrospective concerning one of the more high-profile attempts at a company putting imagination and innovation ahead of simply churning out derivatives of whatever seems popular that particular month. They may have fallen on their sword after only a handful of games, but many involved would go on to form successor studios like Platinum Games. So, thank you very much for watching, and let me know if you have any history with Clover Studios or have only recently checked out their back catalogue. My name's Gray, you've been watching Consoletronix, and until the next time, sayonara.